Hi guys.
Hey,
Hey, hey, hey. Hey, 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 hey.
hey, hey,
Yes.
hey,
Hello,
hey.
everyone. Welcome back. Welcome
What's
back. Welcome.
up?
What's up? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to the show. How you doing,
Hey,
sis?
I am doing well, girl. I'm doing good. How you do? How you do?
You're doing amazing. I'm doing
Looking all
ab-
fabulous and everything,
I'm
girl.
trying, I will do a little bit of this, do a little bit,
Yes,
do a little bit, do a little bit of this, and do a little bit of that when
girl,
I can do
this
it,
is
when I can have the
delicious.
time. And it's so amazing because before we hopped on here, Twonta and I and Jules actually is about to hop on the panel with us. And I want to have her introduce you guys because she's just unintroducible. She's just fabulous.
Amazing.
She's just fabulous, right? But before we hopped on here, Twonta and I and Jewel, we're talking about self-care, you know what I mean? And that's not
Yes.
really a part of today's topic. Like we do an amazing self-care monthly call inside of our sister to sister connection tribe. So
Mm.
make sure that you guys head on over to bit.ly/ sister to sister connection, and you can actually get inside our tribe, get inside our private community for free. Isn't that amazing, Tuanta?
It is absolutely amazing. I'm super duper excited to see what God is he just blowing up this thing, man. It's just amazing. I'm so happy.
He is just
I
God is
know,
really
right?
doing he's really doing some phenomenal things. He really is. And we have to get into the habit of talking about all the amazing things that he's doing for us all the time because in this season it's okay to brag. It's okay to brag a little bit if you got it, right? So without
That's
further ado, I'm going to bring on Jewel onto the panel. Hey Jewel, how are you?
Hey, sisters, how you doing?
Amazing, amazing. It is
Yes,
always
yes.
Yes, it is always a pleasure to have you on here. So, listen, y'all. The reason why Tawanta and I are so excited today because this week has been the kickoff for our season 3.
yeah, girl.
Yes, this is actually season 3 of our Sister to Sister Connection talk show. Tawanta and I have been doing this show now for going on 2-3 years now, long time. We're the original.
Yeah, for a
Uh,
good minute.
so yeah, so we're so pumped. And if you guys saw our show on Wednesday, we normally do this show every Wednesday and Saturdays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you guys always make sure you want to tune in. But Saturdays are the day where we really go deep. We dive into the topic. Today we're talking about everybody plays it full, not me. I'm gonna
Not me.
have to want to explain what that tonight's topic is all about in just a second. But those of you who are tuning in, we are just like so excited that those of y'all who happen to pop on and watch us, whether you found us through somebody sharing this broadcast
Mhm.
or you just stumbled on here, like God has brought you in this room, definitely feel free to type in the chat where you're tuning in from. Please let us know where you're tuning in from. I know I'm from New York. Tawanta is from Michigan, right? Where are you from, Jewel?
North Carolina.
That's right. So we are everywhere. There's a lot of zip codes in here, a lot of area codes. You know what I'm saying? So I love this. I love it. Love it. Love it. So we're gonna before we get into the topic, because how we do this show every Saturday is we have Tawanta. She explains today's topic, and then we dive deep and jump into the conversation. You never know. We may have some guests pop up along the way.
Mhm.
So that's super duper exciting. So I want to give a shout out to Miss Tanya King. Thank you so much for watching, Tanya. Thank you for tuning in. We got our girl, the number one virtual assistant to the stars, Treese. Thank you for hopping on. We got Dominique. Hey, girl.
Come on, girl.
Hey. Thank you for tuning in. We have Diane.
What's up?
Hi. Thank you for tuning in. Yes. And then last but not least, Dominique right there. She's from Florida. Florida.
That's
Listen,
it.
they don't
Florida.
say Florida, they say Florida.
Yes,
Florida.
it's Florida, honey.
Yes,
Yes,
in
I know
Florida.
about Florida.
Florida,
Florida.
honey. Yes, yes. I have family in like Sarasota, Florida, so yeah, I'm quite familiar with that state. So, guys, listen. As you guys are rolling on in, please share this out. Tag in a powerful, amazing sister in down in the comments. It doesn't have to be your blood sister, just somebody
Yeah.
who you love to talk to, chat with,
Yeah.
all the things. Okay, and we're
Yeah.
gonna jump into this topic. So, without further ado, Tawanta, kick us off with a beat.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, girl. Yes. This topic, I think, is going to start it off. I mean, not just for tonight, but I think just for the remaining of this whole month.
That's right.
Letitia and I, we came on this past Wednesday and we just, started just to share what we're going to be talking about for tonight and for the remaining of this month. And it was just on fire. Everybody was
Yes. Yes.
just totally excited about the topics that we are going to present to
Oh
you
my
as
God.
sisters.
Yes.
Yes.
And so tonight we starting it off with this baby. Everybody plays a fool. Not me.
Not me.
Not me. Not me. And what I mean by that is because we as sisters, we have been there, done that too many times in our lives where we have been played once, played twice, three times, we are out of the game. You know what I'm saying? You fool me once, you fool me twice. We have believed people, we have trusted in people, people have taken us for granted, people have abused our kindness, our
Oh
heart,
yes.
our minds, our profession,
Wow.
everything. And even ourselves, we fool ourselves sometimes, right? But I think during this
Mhm.
time that we have been in this pandemic for over a year now,
Hmm.
I truly believe, because I know for me personally, I can only speak for myself, that I had to go through a reset, a major
Yes.
reset,
Yes.
Yeah.
where I had to do a lot of reflection over my life and,
Mhm.
allowing God to just minister to me about some things and all of that. And also, just not even before the COVID came, even prior to that, a lot of us was going through a lot of stuff, sisters. Come on, we all
Yes.
have been
Yes.
going
Yes.
through some
Yes, we have.
things,
Yes, we have.
and we have been pulling and tugging and tugging and
Mhm.
pulling, and people been pulling us and tugging back and forth and everything, and
Yes.
we allow our hearts to just control,
Yeah.
our thinking and get all caught up and wrapped up and tangled up in some relationships that we should
Yeah.
not have been involved in the first place, whether it
Mhm.
was professional
Mhm.
relationship, whether it was a personal relationship, and
Hmm.
even just other things included. But now we got to this point where we are today. A lot of us
Mhm.
has graduated. We have said no more. I'm done with this. I want to live. I will live and I will not die, meaning that I will live for the
Ooh.
purpose that God has for me. And I'm not
Yes.
going to allow anybody to destroy that or take that away from me. You fooled me once, you fooled me twice. I'm not that fool no more. So everybody else
Mhm.
could play that fool game, but I'm out of the game. So
Mhm.
that's what this is
Amen.
going to be
Absolutely.
about.
Amen.
Yeah,
Amen.
so we're going to talk
Yes.
about it. We're going to bless you with some solutions, some strategies, and we're just
Yes.
going to have a good
Yes.
conversation. That's what this whole thing is
Mhm.
all about.
Mhm.
Absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely. It's all about coming together, and I don't want to like play that position of like the word fool as a bad thing, because we're
Yeah,
all
Mhm.
learning every single
we
day
are.
that we're learning brand new things
Mhm.
about ourselves, we're
Mhm.
learning brand new things about the people around us. Really, the fool, we want to flip it and turn into a positive,
Mhm.
because it is a positive,
Mhm.
because there will be some times where you are going to play that
Mhm.
fool, and then eventually you're going to say, okay, no more. And that's where the not me comes from in the
Yeah.
title. So we're going to jump in and talk about some of the things that, either could be one thing or multiple things that has happened in our past that we felt a little bit like the fool, and how we transitioned and changed that. And those of you guys who are tuning in and watching, please share that as well. Say that in the comments, because this live is going to be around forever. So in the
Yeah.
Sure
comments, stay
is.
forever, even in the shares, right? So share in
Mhm.
Absolutely.
comments about something that has happened in your life that you have actually came out like a fool, and how have you changed it? How have you transitioned? What did you learn from it? Okay. And
Mhm.
just so you guys know, if you ever want to donate to the show, all proceeds goes to the show. Okay. So you get a cash app us at Boss Lady Movement, right? Not the Boss Lady Movement, it's just Boss Lady Movement. Sorry about that earlier. Or you could PayPal us at paypal.me/let's dominate. Any proceeds will be appreciated, and it will also go to the growth of the show. So let's jump on into this. I want to start with Jewel. So
Yes.
Jewel, kick it off, sis.
Yes.
Talk about,
Yes.
yes, go ahead, mama.
Playing the fool. I do agree with that. Because it's not necessarily that it's a bad thing. You just caught me at a very vulnerable time in my life.
Mm,
Yes.
I will give you the one, I might give you two. But as our sister Twonta said, I will not give you three.
mhm,
Hmm.
What 2020 has taught us is it pulled us down to say, listen, stop. So that is that vulnerable space. It brought you to stay inside your homes. It brought you to just conform. But you will never repeat those same mistakes again. You will not resume relationships that you had in 2020. You will not resume clients. It was a time to reflect. I gave you that opportunity in 2020. I can't give it to you. I will not give it to you in 2021. It is that saying, the first time, shame on you, second time, shame on me. You had your second time. I can't do that anymore. I'm not a vulnerable person. You will recognize, if you haven't already, and I know we have that intuition, something's not right. Start listening to it. We are now moving on that emotion because we've been confined. So it allows me to recognize gain. It recognize bad sales pitches, bad relationship opportunities, if you will. Just stop, and demand that come to an end, and demand your rightful place. Let them know I'm nobody's fool. I'm nobody's fool, and just step to it. Take that initiative right then. Do not repeat the same thing. You can't be a fool 3 times. I don't believe that. You cannot be a fool 3 times. I give you one, I'll give you two. That's it. It's a wrap.
Right. Right.
That's
No apologies, no explanations. Done.
That's right. That right there hits on so many different points, because a lot of times here's the thing. A lot of times when we are in a position in our lives where we did something foolish, or we
Mm-hmm.
did something of good intent, and then come to find out somebody, had their own intentions in mind,
Right. Right.
we swallow in our regret, and there's
Mm-hmm.
no
Mm-hmm.
change or progression when you're
Right.
feeling regretful,
Mm-hmm.
because mistakes are going to happen, mistakes are going to be made. But if you don't
Mm-hmm.
learn from them and move on, and also teach that, pay that forward by teaching that to other people, which I do every
Mm-hmm.
day, then you're always never going to change. You're never going to grow.
Yeah.
Case
Yeah.
in point for me, I've been, a business owner for a very, very long time. And one of the things that I struggled with was boundaries in my business. And it's so
Mm-hmm.
interesting. One of my clients, Classy Brown, was talking about that during our class the other day. But I struggled with the boundaries, with, you know,
Mm-hmm.
not the boundaries when it comes to how people would speak to me, how people would address me, and what have you. And for
Yeah.
me, it was a situation that came up that I was like, you know what? Enough is enough. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, you're pushing it, you're overstepping the boundaries, you're coming outside yourself, you're forcing me to come outside myself.
Yeah.
And every time I see your name pop up and I read what you wrote, I get instantly upset. And I don't like to live in that space all the freaking
Mm-hmm.
time. And
Mm-hmm.
as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, it's different because working in the corporate world, working in the sales world, you guys probably heard this slogan all the time, right? Customers
Mm-hmm.
always right, client is always right, and you
Mhm.
walk through life with that all the
Mm-hmm.
time. So when you become an entrepreneur, you implement that same saying in the same way, but really that's not the same way when you're an entrepreneur, because you decide, you have the choice to say who you want to work with and who you don't want
Yes.
to work with, and who
Yes.
you're willing
Yes.
to move forward with and who you're not willing to
Mm-hmm.
move forward with. So for
Yeah.
me, even though I've been building my business now for over 15 years, I just started to literally within this week, and Teresa, she's on here because Teresa knows all the conversations that go back and forth in my messenger, my emails, and all that stuff. But I had to literally put somebody sort of in their place, or in the position where they should have always been, but I just,
Mm-hmm.
didn't establish those boundaries and said, listen,
Mm-hmm.
this is not going to happen again. And going forward, this is how I'm going to communicate with you,
Right. Right.
and
Right.
it's so crazy, Jewel and
Yeah.
Twanta.
Mhm.
I
Mm-hmm.
literally wrote out that email and I had it written out already like days and days ago. But I was going back and forth on whether or not to say. I'm like, oh, I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. I don't want to step on no
Yeah.
toes. I don't want this person to go on social media and say something negative about me. And then I had a sense of calm. And I feel like those of y'all who are watching and tuning in, God has always given you a sense of calm in
Mm-hmm.
everything.
Yes,
You're
you
the
will.
one making it complicated, right? So I was making that whole process complicated, and messages still kept coming in, and situations still kept happening, and boundaries were still being overwritten. And now it got to the point where it's just things was just getting very much so disrespectful that I had to say, at first I owned my place in the situation, because
Mm-hmm.
when we're finally coming to a point in our lives as entrepreneurs, and as women in general, where we're establishing boundaries, we have
Mm-hmm.
to also take ownership in the fact that that individual should have already had, you should have already had that conversation
Yeah.
with that
Yeah.
person a year ago or 2 years ago. But
Yeah.
you have swept, for me personally, I'm just talking about myself, swept everything under the rug and say, well, I don't want nobody going on my page and giving me a bad review. I don't want nobody, sliding me in any kind of way and deterring people from coming to me. But you guys know, I always say, what God has for you, who God has for you, nothing can stop you from getting to your goal. Not no one, not anyone, not nothing. Right.
Right.
So with
Right.
that situation, sending out that message and saying, listen, number one, this is what's going to happen. I just laid it all out because I'm really not afraid to say how I feel, but it is different when you're dealing with clients. It is different when you're
Yeah.
dealing in certain situations that, you can't pop off and be like, girl, let me,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
let me go
Yeah.
back to,
That's true.
to, uh,
That's
to
true.
the old me now,
Yeah.
because that old me takes too much energy. It's
Yeah.
not, yeah, I could thrash somebody with my words, but that takes so much energy. And then the
Yeah.
aftermath takes so much energy. So in a professional way, I had to reach out to this person and say, listen, this is what's going on, and going forward, this is how I want to communicate with you. So it's like I played that fool for so many years, and not just with that situation. It was a lot of different situations that has been, not a lot, but a few that has transpired where I had to just literally put somebody in their place in a sort of sense of, I know maybe, you've gotten away with this from other people, and that's fine. And but not over here. And another thing, here's another part, Jewel, in Twonta, and I would love for someday for us to all talk about this. I feel like sometimes people treat me a certain kind of way because I'm a Black woman. And I know that
Oh,
and
yes.
I've seen with my own eyes how, especially this particular individual that I'm referring to, how this person acted to other people. And then when they're dealing with their own, it's a different thing. It's a different, it's the disrespect,
Yeah.
the subliminal, comments and all these things. And it gets so frustrating. But that those things come up and those things happen. So it's like, yeah, I played that fool for a long time, knowing that I should have done this or should have done that. But once I sent out that message and sent out the email, I felt so good. There was no sense of regret. There was no sense like, oh,
Yeah.
maybe I should go in and unsend it. Maybe I should send like another email saying, listen, I was venting. I was like, no, there was no venting in that message. So I'm not even
I
gonna
meant that.
perceive a lie if it was so. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
playing that fool and getting to that point that is, oh, not me anymore, no more. That's liberating for me. It's like, oh my God. Now I can go forward to the next day and to next day and next day and not have to deal with that situation and
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
ownership of the mistakes I made in the past and establish boundaries with that individual or any individual that comes in my way at this time. Because one thing is so true, and Teresa and I always talk about this, I always reference Teresa because she's my VA, is that I tell my clients all the time, I tell anybody in general who are hiring me for my services, I don't work for you, I work with you. My
Oh,
team
yes.
does not work for you. We work with you. It's not a boss/employee type of relationship. I treat nobody on my staff or my team
Yeah.
as if they're employees. They work alongside with me. I
Yeah.
can't show
Yeah.
up without them. I can't be a presence on any platform without them. They play an intricate key in all the moving parts of my brand, which is why my brand is the number one. So it's like my thing is that you have to say, listen, I have to always establish that all the freaking time. It does get tiring, it does get annoying, but how many of us play the fool to clients? How many of us have dealt with clients that treat us like trash, but turn
Yeah.
around and treat, other people not
Yeah.
like that
Yeah.
way? And it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
the boundaries have to be established,
Yeah.
they have to be evident so that we're not playing that fool all the time.
Right.
And
Right.
my whole thing is also too is that this is why I see a lot of entrepreneurs don't last, because dealing with people is frustrating. Not all people.
That's the
I
truth.
would say I have the best clients in the world, but I'm saying the ones that are that I had to like say, okay, no more, that's the part where I know why some people in my industry don't do this anymore. It's not the work,
Yeah.
it's not the marketing, it's not the following up or sales. It's
People.
really the people that
Yeah.
makes you want to just
Mm.
what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It is,
Yeah.
and we have
Yeah.
to take it all with a grain of
It's
salt,
true.
because like
Yeah.
I just said earlier, we all play a fool at something, right? We all play a fool at something, right?
Amen.
Yeah,
We all
yeah.
do.
You
We
want to
all do.
provide a service. You're not serving them. There's a big difference.
Hmm.
You're providing a service to them. We're not, this is our business. Everything doesn't get the hookup.
Hmm.
The customer's not always right. I don't do
Right.
hookups. I'm not
Hmm.
a
Right.
cookie on the corner. This is my business. I am professional. You talk about the cultural or racial things.
Hmm.
It's true. It's a
Yeah.
lot of things that they look for us or try to take from us that you know right off the bat, I can't go in there doing that. I have to dress a certain way. I have to walk and talk a certain way. This is
Hmm.
not going to happen. You've already defeated yourself knowing who's on the other side of the door. But for
Mm.
me, walking with an attitude, oh, she has a strong personality. I know what you're saying. I know exactly what you say when you're
Exactly.
a strong personality. No, I'm not a fool. I know what that is. So,
But also on the flip side of it all is like that fool part. I am not a fool. Everybody plays a fool, not me. I remember I was watching the Housewives of Potomac. Is that what it is?
Mm.
yeah.
And the Nigerian girl, as she kept calling the Nigerian girl, I'm sorry, I don't remember the girl's name. I don't watch the show all the time. I just happened to watch this clip on Instagram. And the Nigerian girl was frustrated with Ashley because Ashley kept calling her aggressive. And I understood what that word meant for her because she was dark. She's the Nigerian girl is a darker shade of
Mhm.
skin color, and Ashley's
Mhm.
very light. She's obviously, you could tell she's mixed. And that word aggressive for us as Black women, that is a word you don't say
Mhm.
characterizing our emotion in the moment. It speaks violence. It speaks so many different things. You know what I'm saying? So it's like some people will put that fool label on us by calling us the angry Black woman, by calling us
Yeah.
aggressive, by calling us
Mhm.
all the things, especially in the entrepreneurial space, in the personal space, or what have you. And we do have to work harder at saying, listen, no, please don't say that about me. That's not how
Mhm.
I feel. I'm
Mhm.
not aggressive. I'm not even angry. I'm just telling you, don't,
Yes.
I
Yes.
don't want to do whatever anymore. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Mhm.
that's the part where, ladies, those of y'all who are tuning in, it's like I know many of you guys have dealt with this where people will put certain labels
Yeah.
on you that are
Yes, they
not
will.
you. It doesn't represent who you are, right?
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Every
Yeah.
time, every time. And
Yep.
that's their way of getting control back of the situation, cutting
Exactly.
you right where you are. You have an
Exactly.
attitude, Black women have an attitude. No, we don't. We're just
Mm-mm.
bold. We know what we want. We're
There you
positive.
go.
We're confident. We've
Yeah.
done this, you
But they
know?
use that word to shut us up. Because honestly,
Yeah,
I played the fool in the past where I don't like it when people say, "Oh, you're arguing with Letitia." When you say that in the past, this was like 5, 6 years ago. If you
yeah.
said, "Letitia, stop arguing," I would have just shut my mouth. Until one day I woke up and I said, "Wait a minute, I'm not arguing, and I'm not going to shut up when somebody says that word because I'm not
Right,
arguing." You know what I'm
right.
saying? So I had to constantly say, first of all, you probably don't know what the word arguing means.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I'm not arguing. I'm not even yelling. I'm not
Right.
screaming. I'm not throwing things. Girl,
Yeah.
I know what argument looks like. Okay, because I grew up around it. Okay, but
Okay.
that word arguing is what was one of my
Yeah,
trigger words to where
right.
it wasn't a trigger to make me get angry and lash out. It was the trigger to keep me silent. So, guys, a
Hmm.
lot of people will use words and stuff to keep
Mhm.
Yes,
just
Mhm.
yes.
shut your
Because
mouth.
they think
Make you
you're a
shut up.
fool. They think you're a fool.
That's
Yeah.
right. But
Right.
not me. You got
Hmm.
to say not me because not me. I'm not
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 arguing.
me.
me.
I'm not aggressive. I'm not upset. I'm not even angry. I just want you
Hmm.
to treat me like you would treat everybody else and not talk to me however the hell you want to talk to me, period. You
Hmm.
know?
Right.
So, Twonta, you go ahead, sis. It's your turn, mama.
You know what? I was listening so intently to every one of you, both of y'all, and I was writing down some things, especially from Jewel when she was talking about vulnerability
Yeah.
and being sensitive. And I just started writing down stuff. Whatever you were saying, I just allowed the Holy Spirit to just pretty much just minister to me. These are, let me say this, those words, vulnerability,
Hmm.
sensitive, gullible.
Mm.
Sensitive. Oh, yes. Oh,
Yes.
Okay, these are
Yes.
the keys to the enemy,
oh,
meaning
yes, it
that
Mm.
you
is.
give these to the
Yes.
enemy. The enemy take these keys, right?
Yes,
Hmm.
he
And
will.
he
Love
uses
it.
as an opportunity.
That's
He
Hmm.
right.
uses an opportunity, meaning that he take the keys, he opens the door, and he presents to you the things
Mm.
that that will trigger
Yeah.
Hmm.
your sensitive heart, your
Hmm.
vulnerable spot, your
Sure.
Yes,
you,
yes.
you know
He
what I
will.
mean? And
Hmm.
that's temptation, ladies. That's
Hmm.
temptation,
Amen.
right?
Hmm.
and he would take that. And you have to know when the enemy is around your camp. You got to know when he's lurking
Yes.
around. You
Mm-hmm.
got to know, because you're going to start seeing things. You're going to start seeing people. You're going to
Yes.
get all, you're going
Yes.
to start seeing things that you've been fighting
Mhm.
away. You've been asking
Mm.
God to help you to get
Yes.
away from. And as soon as
Yes.
you start to elevate yourself to the next level, you are ready to go to move forward. Here
Mm-hmm.
comes the enemy with this key, with
Mm-hmm.
this piece
Amen.
of temptation.
Yes, he
He comes
will.
in with this
Yes,
piece
he
of
will.
temptation, and he would
Mm-hmm.
take advantage of, if you allow him to. He
Yeah,
would
he
take
will.
advantage of your sensitivity, your sensitive heart, your
Mm-hmm.
gullible spirit, your vulnerability. But how many
Mm-hmm.
times have we used to say this, ladies? Don't play me for a fool, or don't take me as a fool.
Powerful.
Don't
Yes.
y'all remember that? Y'all remember that
Yes.
phrase back in the day? Don't
Yes.
play me for no fool now.
Yes. Nobody's full.
I am nobody's fool, right? And especially when it comes to relationships,
Yeah.
especially when it
Yeah.
comes to, us single
Mhm.
ladies. I'm not single, but I'm just saying us in general. But
Yes, yes.
us single ladies, when we say,
Yeah.
we're looking for that mate or that
Yes.
guy or have you,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a weakness of ours, because when we see a fine looking brother, or we see a brother that's very charming and all those
Mm-hmm.
things, we fall to that.
Yes, we
We
do.
we
Mm-hmm.
melt to that and all of
Mm-hmm.
those things. And not saying that's a bad thing, but
Mm-hmm.
ladies, you guys to know where the
Mm-hmm.
enemy is, where he's right there, because the enemy, he knows how to change his whole appearance.
Yes, he
He knows
does.
Amen.
exactly how to
Yeah.
really form like a chameleon. He
Come
Yes.
likes
on.
to just
Mm-hmm.
change, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
he likes to get deep
Mm-hmm.
into that weak spot. And
Mm-hmm.
ladies,
Yes.
we got a
Yes.
weak spot. Yes, we do. We
Mm-hmm.
have a weak
Yes.
spot.
Yes, we
But don't
do.
play us either, because we had decided to take that weak spot in training. We
Mm-hmm.
decided to
Mm-hmm.
take that weak spot and allow
Mm.
God to be our coach,
Come
allow God
on.
to be our teacher, allow God to direct us and show us how to strengthen in
Mm.
those
Mhm.
areas that
Yeah.
we have allowed the enemies to sucker us in
Yeah.
and get caught
Yes.
up in the rapture of a love
Mm-hmm.
affair, of a messed up,
Mm.
abusive relationship
Go ahead
or a
now.
business relationship, all this
Come
kind of
on.
stuff.
Come
Okay.
on.
So we ladies, we have to, truly stand in front and present the truth, because we don't want to truly admit to ourselves, that we've been played the fool. We
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
don't want
Yeah.
to admit to ourselves that we played a
Mhm.
foolish game. We don't want to
Yes.
admit that.
Mhm.
But
Nope.
ladies, if you
You're right.
want to really be healed and you really want to be set free, if you really want to move forward in life and you really want to have a beautiful, healthy, successful relationship of any kind,
Yep.
then you
Mhm.
need to really start to execute and start open up and speak the truth about your vulnerabilities.
Amen.
And let the devil
Yes.
know that you are not a punk, that
Mm-mm.
you
Right.
are not weak minded,
Yes. Come
that you
Nope.
on.
are
Come
not,
on.
you're not going to be played no more. Let know that
Mhm.
you are strong enough to speak the truth about, yes, I got a weakness. Yes, I do. I allow people to get into my heart sometimes,
Mhm.
but this
Mhm.
time I allow God to exercise my heart. I allow him to apply his word to minister
Mhm.
to me so he can
Mhm.
strengthen me to not
Mhm.
be played as a fool, but be played as a victor. I'm a
Mm.
victor.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, I
Whoa.
love that part. I love that part so much
Yes.
because it's like when we do get into moments and situations where we do feel like a fool or foolish, those are
Yeah,
Mhm.
feelings and emotions that you can erase from your heart because you're making room for that emotion. Like
Mhm.
you only
right.
make you only feelings only come up if you make room for that feeling or
Yes.
you make room
Yes.
for that emotion, and you can
Mhm.
absolutely
Mhm.
just erase it from your mind, erase it from your
Mhm.
spirit by you just not focusing on it, by you learning from it and moving forward and saying, well,
Right.
this is what I'm going to do going forward. This is how I'm going to handle this situation
Right.
and this
Yeah.
Right.
circumstances and not complain
Yes.
over anymore. So I
Yeah.
want
Exactly.
to hop on over to the chat, ladies, if y'all don't mind. And we have a
Mhm.
question from Walter. Hey, we got a fella in the
Okay.
building.
Sir.
Happy to have you here. We would welcome all men, just so you guys know, even though this is called Sister to Sister Connection. We still welcome our brothers. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay, long as y'all act right now. Okay, so and I know Walter very well actually, so he's cool. He's cool, ladies. He's cool. So Walter said, why is it a challenge sometimes to shift from the mindset of working for someone to now having an entrepreneur mindset? So I'm gonna have you answer that question first, Jewel. What is your feedback on that for Walter?
Working for someone initially, as we've all probably, started, that's how we started, 9 to 5s, flipping burgers, what have you. We have the history. We know what to do, what not to do. We know how
Yeah.
to talk to. That's where we learn our customer service. That's where we learn the right from wrong. That's where we learn those emotions. So that builds us to now be that entrepreneur and know what we will and will not tolerate. That mindset starts from day one when you have a boss and you have someone that you have to check in with, get permission
Mm-hmm.
to go to the restroom, get
Mm-hmm.
permission to take a day off. That is your building to become an entrepreneur. And it
Mm-hmm.
shifts when you wake up that one day and say, you know what, I'm done. I'm
Mm-hmm.
done. Go
Mm-hmm.
in, give them that, resignation. I'm done. And when that
Absolutely.
is, don't look back.
Don't
Don't
look
look
back.
back,
Mm-mm.
because at
Yeah.
that time, as Twonta said, only you know it's time. You
Mm-hmm.
know when it's time. You have had enough. You're tired.
Amen.
You're tired of being sick and tired. You're tired of getting that permission. You know you can do it. It's not going to
Amen.
be easy. It wasn't easy reporting to somebody. Now you are the boss. If
Yes.
you don't work, you don't eat. You're going to have a bad client. You're going to have some difficult challenges, some
Yeah. Be
employees. However,
realistic.
yeah,
Yeah.
but the hats have switched now. So now what?
Mm-hmm.
You have had that experience. Now it's time to step to it. Show them how it's done.
Amen.
That's right. How about you, Twonta?
Oh, I was just enjoying what she was saying. I was just like, come on, minister. Okay. I mean, everything she said is on point. I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I haven't worked outside the realm for a long time, but I can also apply this to relationships in,
Yes,
in
yes.
home.
Hmm.
It's the same concept, honestly.
Hmm.
If you,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, you make a commitment to someone, or you made a commitment to a group of people in your home or what have you, and you
Mm-hmm.
see things are just not going the way it should.
Hmm.
People have their own personal agenda,
Hmm.
all these things, and it's not conducive, it's not workable, it's not helping, it's not really helping the family unit,
Yep.
it's not
Hmm.
helping you as an individual,
Mm-hmm.
then it's time for you to make some decisions. It's
Mm-hmm.
time
Right,
for you
right.
to separate yourself, even though you're living in one house. But it's time to
Hmm.
separate yourself, because that person or persons, they're not
Yes,
in the same level or the same
right,
mindset that you are.
That's
You
right.
right,
know in your
right.
heart right now that God is ready to take you to another level. And even though
Yes.
Amen.
you may have shared the ideas or the vision to that person in your
Yep.
home, that spouse, or to your children, or whoever's in, and yet they heard it, but they're not seeing it, and then they debating with you, then you know what? You need to separate yourself. You love
That's
them,
right.
Yes,
you will be there
yes.
for them, but now this, you got to understand that
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't want a groupie. He just
Mhm.
needs you and him together. That's all that
Yes,
matters.
that's it.
Sometimes we have to realize we don't need an entourage of people just to make it to the next level, or just to
Hello,
move.
hello.
It's only
Hmm.
God and you. God is the one that
Yes.
will promote you and elevate you to the level that you need to
Hmm.
go to. You don't need to
Yes.
have a whole entourage of people. I'm
Mm.
just keeping on a real with you. So,
Yes,
Mm.
yes,
if he will help
yes,
you through that process, because he already given you the mindset. He's
Amen.
yes,
already given you the ideas. He's already given
yes.
you the vision and the dreams of what you need to do. He did not include the people.
That's
He
right.
did not include your family. He
She
did not
said,
include your spouse.
Woo! Come
They're
on.
not in that vision.
Yes, yes.
I
What
Come
love
he
on,
it.
has what
come
he
on.
has already presented to you, you need to follow up what he has revealed to you, and take
Amen.
that and go with it.
Yes,
And then
yes.
as you move forward to the direction that he's guiding you, then eventually your family will tag along.
They
Yes,
will.
they
And if
will.
they don't,
Yes,
that's
they
fine
will.
as well.
Yes,
Exactly.
it is. Yes, it is.
Right?
Yes.
And if they
Everybody's
don't,
not meant to roll with you, that's for sure.
I love how
That's
she said, God don't need no groupies. Lord.
you know,
And when you think of the word groupie, it's like groupies just hang out, they take the scraps, and they don't have no
they're a
standards.
distraction.
Yeah. I love that. I love, love, love. So what I have to say for you, Walter, and this is something like honestly early on, it was hard for me to have that business mindset to go from working a full-time job to now working for solely for myself. So the first thing I would give advice I can give to you, Walter, is that get around other entrepreneurs. I think that's so
Yes.
important. Even when you get a corporate job, a sales job, a cashier job, whatever, they link you up with somebody who has been with the company or with the store, or wherever, with the department for a long period of time,
Mhm.
to train you on the ins and outs of the company. So it's the same thing when you're an entrepreneur, you want to be around other
Yeah.
entrepreneurs as
Right.
well.
Like-minded.
And also
Right.
on the flip side of that is start to build some systems in your business
Mhm.
so that way you can start hiring people, getting help. Because I made this example the other day on a show
Mhm.
called Social Chef, is that when the owner of Walmart made Walmart, he didn't say, well, I'm going to make Walmart and I'm going to be the cashier, I'm going to be the store manager, I'm going to be the stock boy, I'm going to be the
Right.
custodian. He said, no, I'm going to build this company. I'm going to get people to hire people to do all these things so I can continue to be the CEO and be the big
Mhm.
thinker, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing I would tell you
Mhm.
to do is to, now I know some people, it's hard for some people to do. Well, I know it's not. I know many of you guys can do this, but as an entrepreneur, you got to motivate yourself. There's not a lot of motivation, especially if you come from a background or come from an area where you don't see a lot of high figure earners or even entrepreneurs, period. Now, another thing I want to tell you about entrepreneurship is that everyone thinks that people who have a business have a lot of money, and that's not true. Entrepreneurs are always building, always expanding. Every penny they get, or most of the money they get, goes right back into the business.
Yes.
So you could
Yes.
go, 5 to 10 years and not even give yourself a paycheck yet. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Before you really start to pay yourself. So entrepreneurs, as an entrepreneur, if you're not a visionary, you don't need to be on the internet promoting anything, because
Mhm.
there's going to be times in your business, there's been many times in my business where I wasn't making that much money. I was just making money to survive. I was just making money to feed my kids, to pay my bills and things like that. I wasn't buying cars, I wasn't getting houses, wasn't doing those things. It's like it may take you years to get to that level if that's what you want to do. So it's
Right.
please know the idea of people think, when I become an entrepreneur, I'm going to be a millionaire. It's going to take you years and years and years and years to get to that point. The point problem is that the process is you have to always have that vision and have that
Yes.
dedication
Yes.
and
Yeah.
motivate yourself. Stop looking
Mhm.
for other people to motivate you. Look for other
Yeah.
people to teach you what you don't know, or hire
Mhm.
other people to do the things that you don't want to do. But
Yeah.
don't look for somebody to say, well, I'm not going to show up today until I see Letitia or until I see Twonta or until I see Jewel.
Mhm.
No,
Mhm.
show up anyway. Show up
Yeah.
anyway, because that's
Mhm.
what you're supposed to do. So
Mhm.
as an entrepreneur, you're gonna do a lot of things that you don't want to do. There's a lot of things I don't want to do in my business, but it's what I'm supposed to be doing, right? It's what I'm
Mhm.
supposed to be doing.
Mhm.
And the last
Mhm.
point I want to say is you got to give yourself a deadline. It's a funny story I want to share, but it's so true. When
Mhm.
I left my job back on August 11th of 2017, I was like 2 weeks. I was sitting around here, not really doing anything, just like lagging, chilling.
Mhm.
Because when you work for so long, you get so used to someone telling you what to do. So
Mhm.
someone telling you when to punch in, when to punch out, when to go on lunch, when to go on vacation, when to turn in something. That to now you're on your own. It feels very weird. You know what I'm saying? But I had to pick myself up from that and start giving myself deadline. So as soon after I got out of that weirdness of 2 weeks, I said, you know what? I need to launch this course and it's going to start in 30 days and things like that. So you got to give yourself some deadlines. You got to give yourself some things to do and some big vision goals. And I think the major thing is being around other entrepreneurs as well. That's
Yeah.
so important. Now, that entrepreneur doesn't have to be a 6 to 7 figure earner. It could be a
Yeah.
4 figure earner a month. You learn a
Mhm.
lot from businesses who are making 4 figures a month. 4 figures a month will help you leave that job. 4 figures a month will help you get out of debt. Just like it's about, it's a marathon, not a sprint. That's the major
Mhm.
thing. So I think that's the big thing, because as a employee, you get hired and you probably expect to be promoted within a year or two, and that's your expectation. But as an entrepreneur, you promote yourself. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And it's like
Yeah.
that mindset shift is real. Like being an entrepreneur, it does change you. It does
Mhm.
alter who you are. And I don't know any woman that has been an entrepreneur as long as I have that's not different. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Somebody asked me when I shared my quit video with you guys, like, 4 years ago, someone asked me, like, Letitia, are you that same person back in 2017? No, I'm very different. She's
Mhm.
way different. I'm way different from her. I'm not that same person. I left my
Yeah.
job in that moment. I was so excited. I was so happy.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's somebody I look at as like, I don't really recognize her so much. I'm very
Yeah.
different. It does change you a lot. So I'm glad that
Yeah.
you asked that question, Walter, because that's the transition as an entrepreneur. You do play the fool a lot. You know, a lot of things will happen. You get a
Yeah.
negative comment. Maybe somebody pop on your show and didn't like it, or I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many different things that comes
Yeah.
up. And you got to say, you know what? It's part of business. You're going to invest
Yeah.
money here and probably lose it or it didn't grow anything. And you're going to go over here and invest money over here. It's not a gambling thing. It's
Yeah.
part of business. It's part of
Yeah.
business. How many
Yeah.
businesses in 2020 have put in so much money and lost? You know, a
Mhm.
lot of it because they projected in January of 2020 that this is what their year is going to be. And child, listen, the COVID came, honey, and she ravished us, honey.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Honey,
Yeah.
Mhm.
she's like,
It's a maturity level. You have to have a maturity level, and it's not for
mm,
everybody. Tons, hundreds of thousands of businesses have gone under. They didn't prepare, but it's not for everybody, and that's okay.
okay, yeah,
You tried it. This having a business, being an entrepreneur, it will mature you. We
it
are
will.
mature. You were a
Mm-hmm.
9 to 5er. You were talking about your boss. You were just busy.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. There's no time for that now.
No
There's no
time.
time for
And
all
you
that
can't make
foolishness.
excuses. You can't make
Yes.
excuses as a
Right.
business owner. And I
Right.
hear people say, "Well, I'm not making an excuse." But the minute you say "but," girl, you about to come out and make an excuse.
You
Like, come
changed the
on.
whole
Like,
we changed the whole
stop making
conversation.
excuses. Take ownership,
Right.
change, and now move on
Yes.
to the next thing. It's
Yes.
like
Yes.
you can't be in this make it. And if you're like a person that makes a lot of excuses for things, I don't think entrepreneurship is a
No.
thing for
No.
you.
No. And Amazon is still growing. They're just ordered 10,000 electric cars. Come on. You're
Yep.
gonna buy a car on
They're
Amazon now.
popping up everywhere out here, Jewel. I
Come
mean, I
on.
don't I don't know what they're doing exactly, but I'm seeing a lot of these pop up like plate stations or something says Amazon
Yes.
Right.
shop.
Right. Right.
Here's my prediction.
Amazon.
Here's my prediction with Amazon. I'm telling y'all, I'm only predicting this because my husband and I were just in Connecticut today. We drove from New York to Connecticut today, and we're seeing a lot of these Amazon fulfillment centers and also these pop up shops. So I think that because we went into Best Buy and Best Buy
Mhm.
was empty, and Best Buy is always busy. Okay, they're
Yeah.
like the Apple
Yes,
Store.
they
You know what
are.
I'm saying?
Yes, they
So
are.
I'm like, you know what? I think Amazon is my prediction. It's going to replace Best Buy. It's going to replace a lot of these electronic
Mm.
places
Yeah.
where it's going to, instead of being a Best Buy, it's going to be not Amazon, electronic shop or
Mhm.
Amazon boutique or something like that. Because here's the thing, y'all, it's like we shop with them online already, so the
Yes,
trust
we
is
do.
there. Just
Mhm.
imagine you can just walk in to an
Mhm.
Amazon store if you want to,
Yeah.
and order
Yeah.
it online and pick it up there, which I really think Sears should have did. Sears was
Oh,
heavy on the
yes.
catalogs, and the Sears
Yeah.
could have been the Amazon. Oh,
Yeah.
this is
They
a whole
could have.
nother. Yeah, we gotta. This is like a technical uh e-commerce conversation. So yeah, we gotta put a pin in that. But yeah, so yeah, thank you, Mavana. Yes. Teresa said, I would have beat you if you unsent it. She's talking about the email thing I was telling you guys about. Mavana said, yes, with me, my voice is loud, and that has been such
Yes.
me before. Oh, I get what she's saying. Like some women have
Yeah.
just a louder pitch voice, and when they're
Yeah.
having a issue with someone, you're loud. That's how I
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah.
That has
Yeah.
happened to me before. This is
Mhm.
how I talk. What do you
Mhm.
mean I'm loud? We talking about
Mhm.
that's a
Mhm.
trigger.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's a word. Yes. Hey, Charmaine, how are you? Yeah, we got. Oh, Dominique said no scrubs, Twonta.
No
I
scrubs.
don't want no scrubs. Scrubs is the guy that can't get no love from me. Yes, honey. We don't want no scrubs. We don't want no
Mhm.
scrubs. All
Mm-mm.
right, y'all. So
Mhm.
let's close out, ladies, with one piece of advice. If someone actually came up to y'all and said, "Listen, I feel like a big old fool right now. How can I change it?" Let's starting with you, Jewel.
Learn from it. Learn from it because you don't get another opportunity. You
Mhm.
learn, it was a lesson learned. You
Mhm.
know what's not going to be said. You know how to recognize it when it happens again, and it will. Just a different person, different scenario, but you will know how to address it. And the fact that you have to address it because it will come back again if you don't. And it'll be
That's
a lot
right.
easier every time. Trust and believe it's coming back. Just as,
Mm-hmm.
as Twonta mentioned before, they're just in different disguises or what have you. But the devil gets real busy because he knows that you have that breakthrough as well.
Mm.
And he is right there, right there in sheep's clothing. Hey, no,
Nope.
that's not your breakthrough.
Nope.
Right,
Nope. Nope.
right,
Nope.
right.
I
Yeah,
love
don't
that.
get it
I love
I get
that,
twisted.
it
Jewel,
too. Yeah.
because it is true. Sometimes you do have that one opportunity to learn that
Hmm.
lesson. I love that,
Yeah.
sis. I love
Hmm.
that. How about you,
Mhm.
Tawanta?
I would say, you know what, the reset.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Yep.
To just, take that time and just reset, to reevaluate some things, to,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
look at do a reassessment, basically,
Hmm.
because you don't want to fall prey into that, into that bubble, like, oh, I'm so foolish, I'm not smart, I'm so dumb, I'm this, da 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 da
Hmm.
da. We don't want
Hmm.
to fall back into that anymore. If you made a
Yeah.
mistake, you made a mistake, but you learn from those
Hmm.
mistakes, of course, but you
Right.
also, pull out some of the good things out of that. Not
Mm-hmm.
with everything is not always bad. There's
Yes, that's
something
true.
good out of that
Hmm.
situation,
Right.
even
Right.
though it did turn out kind of wiki wonky or whatever you want to
Yep.
call it. But at the
Painful.
end of the day,
Hmm.
there's something that you could pull out of it and say,
Mm-hmm.
well, God, oh, okay,
Again.
well, God, I see this. Okay, but God, I thank you for that. Thank you for
Hmm.
giving me that insight. Now
Yeah.
help me to do
Yes.
better. And when
Hmm.
it comes to the
Love
next
it. Love
relationship or
it.
the next business or something to that regard. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
reset is the thing you
That's
need to
wonderful.
ponder on.
Yes.
I
Love it.
totally, totally agree. I would say two things to you. I would say, first of all, who cares? It's like we all make mistakes. We
Hmm.
all have
Hmm.
made the wrong decisions, have gone down the wrong path. And this
Right.
is just
Yeah.
part of life lessons. Like nobody,
Hmm.
it's like
Right.
the part in the Bible with they said the woman in the wedding dress and how, you walk through coals, dirt, mud, like you're going to get
Hmm.
dirty. I mean, that's just life. The second thing I would say is, you know, in life, people do project how
Hmm.
they feel on the inside onto you. So a lot of times we do
Yes.
feel like a fool because we're allowing people to project their feelings, project their emotions on you. So
Hmm.
if somebody's saying like, girl, you a fool, girl, you did something foolish, maybe that's how they're feeling in the moment. And you
Hmm.
don't have to, claim names or terms that are not in a representation of who you are. So those are
Right.
like the two major things I would say for any of you guys right now feeling like the fool. Maybe like I always hear people say, "Oh, I should have been further ahead than I am right now," or I should have didn't done this better, or else I wouldn't have,
Yeah.
did that. I always say you're never behind. You're never shorthanded. You're always where you need to
Yes.
be according to the
Yes.
choices
You
Mhm.
that you
do.
made. Now the question I want to ask you is, what are you doing? What are you going to do next? What are you going to do to move
Hmm.
forward? And I got that from Oprah Winfrey. She mentioned that on one of her interviews
Yeah.
one time because it's so true. We're always focusing
Yeah.
on the doom and the gloom. Okay, it's good to acknowledge that this situation is
Right.
bad,
Next.
what you
Right.
learn from it, and now what's your next step.
Come
So
on.
that's the
Yep.
major thing. So this was an amazing conversation, ladies.
Yes,
I,
it
I really
was.
enjoyed it. We have more and more and more to come for the upcoming weeks, y'all. We do this show every single Wednesday
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Saturday at
Yeah.
8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So next week, April 17th, I'm really excited about this topic. It's called Foolproof, right?
Oh, pro.
Yes, and you're gonna have to join us for our Wednesday show where we're gonna be talking about what we mean by foolproof, honey. That's gonna be really fun. I'm super pumped about that. If you guys have gotten any value from watching this show, please feel free to donate to our season 3 show, Sister Sister Connection. Either you could cash up us or you can send us a PayPal. But this conversation was fun, right, ladies?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
it was. Yes,
It was
it
awesome.
was. And guys, we appreciate each and every one of you for watching and tuning in. Always feel free to ask us questions because we're here for y'all. We show up every single week for you guys. And season 3 is going to be an explosive and
Yes. Yes.
impactful season, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sister to sister
Okay.
tribe. Yes.
Yes. Oh, yes. And also, thank you so much for that. I almost forgot. Also, guys, make sure that you hop on over to right after this show, right? Hop on over to our Sister to Sister Connection tribe. It's free to get inside. All you got to do is go to bit.ly/sister to sister connection. If you ever want to be a guest on our show, definitely feel free to email us at sister to sister connection That's the tribe. Email us at sister-to-sister-connection@gmail.com. Okay. I gotta put these banners here. All right, y'all. So thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. As always, love on your sister. Bye,
Yes.
guys. Yes.